Hello foodies, welcome to the channel. Today we're making one of the most popular fish dish in the entire world. We're going to be making beer battered fish and chips with a twist, of course. The tartar sauce, that's some Escovitch tartar sauce. You have never seen that sauce in your life. We're using the world's #1 beer, Red Stripe beer. And also stick around to the end where I show you how to make these potatoes. I accidentally made these potatoes. They're so good, you have never seen them before. Let's get into the video. Let's make the batter. So we have some all-purpose flour. We have about 1 cup. We have some baking powder. We're going to be adding in a pinch of salt. We're also adding in some Cajun seasoning, some all-purpose seasoning, and of course some sea salt. So now we're just going to give this a nice stir. We're going to whisk this to combine all the ingredients, and then we're going to be adding in the world's best beer. Allegedly, this is the Red Stripe beer. It's very cold, and you want to make sure the beer is as cold as possible, or cold as it can get. So we're going to use this beer to make the batter. And you can always replace the Red Stripe beer and use the beer of your choice, but you want to make sure that it's very cold. That's the main thing about it. It has to be cold. And the thickness of this should be the thickness of heavy cream. You don't want it to be too thick because the batter is going to be too thick on the fish. So the batter is finished. Let me show you what it looks like more closely. Now that we have the batter out of the way, let's season the flour, and we're only going to be using some black pepper, some salt, and some all-purpose flour. So this is the flour that we're going to be using to dredge the fish in before we add it to the batter. And the reason why you want to use flour, so that the flour will stick to the batter. So we're going to coat the fish with this flour, and it's going to stick onto the fish when it's being fried. I'm all about maximum flavoring, so I'm going to be seasoning my fish. I'm adding in some seasoning salt, black pepper, and also some all-purpose seasoning. I won't be adding in any salt because I don't want it to be too salty. So we're just going to make sure that the fish is lightly seasoned, and I'm using some grouper. Some persons like tilapia or codfish, but I'm using grouper because it's one of my favorite fish. But feel free to use whatever fish you prefer to use. Now let's get over to the breading process, then we're going to fry. Have the oil on the fire. We're going to check it to make sure it's hot. If you don't have a thermometer, this is how you check it. You just add something to the oil, and that's a piece of potato. You can see it bubbling, so you know that the oil is hot, but you don't want it to be too hot. So we're going to leave it here, and now we're going to go back to the breading, and I'm going to be adding in my fish into the oil. So let's go back to the breading. Alright, so for the breading, we have the fish, and then we have the flour. So this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be flouring it, and then you're going to be adding it to the batter. It's very simple. So flour, then batter, and then you should be good. So now that we have the fish floured, we're going to shake off some of the flour before we add it to the batter. So now that we have the flour, all we're going to be doing, we're going to be dipping in the fish into the batter. We're going to let some of the batter run off, then we're going to be adding it to the oil. You don't want to let it go same time, you just want to gently float it into the oil so that it doesn't stick to the batter. And you will repeat the process until everything is finished. Alright guys, so we're going to let this fry for about 10 minutes and we should be good. Alright, so we cook this on one side for about 5 minutes. Now we're going to turn it over. Okay, foodie, so this is now ready. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it out and let it drain. Then I'm going to work on my potato. I'm going to turn the fire off and just let this continue to drain to get rid of all of the grease. I'm going to be working on the potato, and as I said before, so I have 2 potatoes here to make the chips. Alright, for the potato chips recipe, all you're doing, you're going to be using a sharp vegetable peeler and then peeling the potatoes in it. And you have to do it very fast on this one because it gets really hot. And you want to move it up as fast as possible so that everything cooks evenly. Alright foodies, let's take these out of the fryer. So there you have it, the potato chips are ready. So now we're going to be making the sauce. Okay, for the sauce, this is the first time you will ever see a sauce like this because this is the first time this sauce will be made. So I'm the inventor of this sauce unless somebody else already invented it. So we're going to be making escovitch tartar sauce. So we have some mayonnaise, we have some sugar, we also have some chopped scallion, we have a pinch of salt, we have some black pepper, and we have some escovitch sauce. And if you don't know how to make escovitch sauce, there's a video on the channel where I break all of this down. So we're adding some escovitch sauce and we're going to toss this around. Alright, so there you have it. We have the escovitch tartar sauce. Okay guys, so this is what the finished product looks like. We have the chips, we have the crunchy fish, and we also have the tartar sauce, escovitch tartar sauce, and some lime. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you end up liking this video. I'm Alex, the Feel Good Chef.